Hi folks, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again. You've seen my previous short video and the prize draw. You'll know that the knife talks we're going to be continuing with are on the Victorinox range of pocket knives, the Swiss Army knife, the SAK, the Swiss officer's knife, sometimes known as in other countries. Now, for purposes of argument, we'll just be talking about the Victorinox. I know there's other Swiss, so-called Swiss Army knives out there, but I'll get to that later on. For me, it's always been about the Victorinox. I've had some Wenger in the past, and they're just not, for me, they're just not as good as the Victorinox. Bang for the buck, the Victorinox has got it all. Plus you do get what a lot of people don't realise is you do get a lifetime's warranty with the Victorinox. So if you break it or a bit falls off or anything like that, you contact your local agent and they'll give you the address. Sometimes if you've got a good relationship with your local agent, they'll actually send it off for you. And Victorinox have got a dedicated department that just deals with repairs, and that can be a knife that your dad gave you, that you've had for 40 years. I mean, I have seen some footage of them repairing a knife from the early 1900s that somebody had sent back for a new pair of Bakelite scales putting on, and they actually made a pair of custom scales, all under warranty. So that's something that tells you a little bit about the company. So we're going to look at a few knives now. Now this little guy is what most of you are probably familiar with. The red plastic scales. This, I believe, is a Spartan. Now this, it's a limited edition one, a Victorian snap-on one, but that's irrelevant. This was probably my second Swiss Army knife. My first one got lost many years ago, but I do know for a fact that I've had this almost 30 years. I got it when I was 15, so I've had this 29 years, and it's a little bit flat on the blade. The scissors aren't the best, they're very loose. I'm loath. I know that I could send that back and get that repaired, and Victorinox would honour the warranty on the scissors, but I'm loath to send it back because it was my first knife, my first Swiss Army knife. Well, my first, that's a lie, my second one, but it's the oldest surviving one. But that's I think that's a Spartan. It's what we know as a three-layer tool set. So that's what most of you are familiar with the Swiss Army knives, and they come in a range of tool setups. Another one that I really like, that I carry at work a lot, again, it's the plastic scales type, with the pen, the tweezers and all that bits and pieces. The fancy little optician screwdriver in there. But this one's a cyber tool, so it's got a bit driver in there, separate bits, tiny little pliers, but those pliers, don't be fooled, they are beast little pliers. So yeah, that's what I tend to carry at work, and I'd rather carry that than a Leatherman, to be honest, because I just like them better, and it's UK legal, there's no locking blade on it. So I can be comfortably have that in my pocket. Yes, it's a little bit bulky. Is it any more bulky than a Leatherman? Probably not. What you will notice on this and on a lot of my other knives is these little pocket clips. Now, I fit most of my knives with these, most of my pocket knives, and that just rides in the outside of your pocket, and the knife hangs nicely. It's easy to get to. It's not rummaging, rolling around in the bottom of your pocket. You're not rummaging down to get it, and it stops your knife getting bashed up by other things in your pocket. And they're like 60p or something like that. But yeah, that's so that's the cyber tool. A variation on the Spartan. Again, we're going up to a 4 layer now. The cyber tool is a 5 layer, so I guess we're going down to it. But this is more of an outdoor knife, this one. This is the Huntsman. Now, I like the Huntsman. I like the Huntsman a lot, and I carry it occasionally. And this blue one was my pocket knife for a good couple of years now. The reason I like the Huntsman is because it's got the cracking Victorinox saw on it. Now, this saw, for a pocket saw, and I'm not talking about your Laplanders or your Silky Pocket Boys, for a pocket saw on a multi-tool, this is a little beast. It's like having a micro chainsaw. Anybody who's got a Victorinox already with a saw on, you'll know what I'm talking about. Now, so that's a 4 layer now. That 4 layers come in various shapes and sizes. Another 4 layer I've got that I really like. This one tends to sit in my first aid kit simply because it's got a magnifying glass. So I've got magnifying glass. I've got tweezers. It's also got what they call an inline Phillips screwdriver. It's also got some nice solid copper custom scales on it, and that's the Explorer. We'll look at these models a bit more in depth and the features that I like, maybe in another video. But yeah, so that's the another 4 layer, and that's the Explorer. Now you do go up to something that some guys deem a bit silly, you know, and it's the Champ. Now, the reason I've got this Champ, and I did carry it for a while, but he's a bulky beast, but that's pretty much got everything by the kitchen sink on it. Now, I stopped carrying this because it's got a lot of sentimental value to me. My granddad bought me this on my 18th birthday, so again, it's quite an old knife, and I'd be absolutely heartbroken if I lost it. So, yeah, so that's the Champ, and that's literally, I mean, you can see that's what we got there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's an 8 layer knife. And I do believe they do another version now that's ridiculous, that's a collector's piece, that's got every tool that they've ever made all in one knife. That's just like, it's like a flipping, you know, it's like a brick. But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, it's a push. You could use that blade, and I have used it. But like I say, I've stopped carrying that. It's got some great features on it, but just all in one, I'm not so sure. Okay, right. So those are the what we call the 93s. I think that's the right terminology for them. I'm sure somebody will correct me if it's not. The 93s referring to the length. Some people call them the cellar door knives as well, because that's the type of plastic that the scales are made out of. So we've got those guys there. They come in lots of different shapes and sizes, lots of different shapes, tool sets, lots of different colours. You can get ones with different company stamps on. You can get custom scales if you want to modify your own. You can get modern versions that have got USB sticks in them. The cyber tool that they do with an LED light in it, which is pretty useful as a pocket tool. So those are those, but the one that I will always carry, and they're gaining popularity, but I quite like at party now, is the Alox or Alox. Some people call them Alox, I call them Alox. Now this is derived from the Victorinox Soldier, which recently got replaced by, I don't know if you saw, I haven't got one at the moment, but with the modern Soldier, which is a big 110 centimetre knife with a 1 thumb opening locking blade. But before that, when you talked about a Victorinox Soldier, was something very similar to this, what we call the Pioneer now. So it's got this tool setup minus one important feature. Now this This is the Alox Farmer, and the two reasons why I love this as a pocket knife for the woods is it's got the beast, the little micro chainsaw, the awesome super sharp Swiss Army knife saw, and the other tool that you will only get on what we'll call a soldier series, you only get on an Alox, is that awl. Now that awl is an absolutely awesome tool. It's got a semi-sharpened blade on it, and let me just get the awl out on the 93 on the old classic Swiss Army knife, and yeah, that's not a bad thing. You know, you've got your corkscrew style of it, but I have known that if you're trying to bore wood with it, gets uncomfortable. It can close up on your fingers, and it's just not as good as that. Now that's got a semi-sharpened edge on it, so it's good for lots of things. I carry a Victorinox Alox when I'm not at work, which I'll probably carry the cyber tool, but when I'm not at work, when I'm in the woods, I carry an Alox. Simply because, not so much for the blade, because I've usually got a fixed blade. I will carry the Pioneer. I mean, if you look at how much that one's been carried, that's just worn. It's worn, shiny. The tip of that in my pocket. The saw's a bit banged up now. But this silver one's actually my son's. These are the ones you can get. You can get off Amazon, readily available. The black ones are rarer to come by. But I just wanted a black one. But that for boring wood and all the other reasons why you'd have an awl, that's superb. So as a folding pocket knife that's completely UK legal. I mean, you might be watching this in other countries and thinking, what's he talking about, UK legal? Now, if we talk about UK legal for a moment, that's a sub 3-inch non-locking blade. The Victorinox, apart from the new Soldier that I've just talked about, are all slip joints, so they're a non-locking blade and sub 3 inches cutting edge. So there's no legal issues carrying that in the UK. Other countries have similar laws, I know, but some countries are lucky enough to be able to carry whatever they like, whether that be a locking blade or a fixed blade. But that's a brief look at the various more common types of Victorinox SAK, Victorinox Swiss Army Knife. So the choice is yours, really. Most guys have already got one of these. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. Won't necessarily go for the corkscrew version, although the corkscrew does have its uses, and we will get to that later on. There's various models where the corkscrew is replaced with a screwdriver. But whatever you're getting, whether you're getting, decide to go for an Alox or a classic Swiss Army knife, the awl for me is as important as the blade. And if you're going for the huntsman as opposed to the Alox, you don't get what we call an inline awl, so it's in line with the rest of the tools. The Alox don't have a back tool set like the classic Swiss Army knives do. It's just, like I say, it's derived from the Soldier, what's now known as the Pioneer. So it's derived from the Soldier, so there's no back tool set. So I would go for either the Alox Farmer, because you will always get the little buzz saw and your awl and a blade, bottle opener, smaller screwdriver, can opener. Obviously, you're gonna get an awesome blade. Now, I come across a lot of Swiss Army knives second hand, and people ask me about them and they say, "Oh, I don't like Swiss Army knives, you can't keep them sharp." Well, the trick is, when you get them new, don't let them go blunt. Like most knives, keep it stropped and it'll stay sharp. Now, because it's such good surgical steel, such good surgical stainless, it's hard as hell. So if it's sharp, they're like a razor. They really are scalpel sharp. When they get blunt, they are tricky to get back to that sort of stage. So try and keep it sharp with the strop rather than letting it get to the stage where it needs to go on a stone. But you know, if you're confident with a stone, and you spy a good bargain on the car boot sales or the flea markets, and you think, ooh, £3, that's worth a punt, and the blade's dinged up, but you know you can mend it, then go for it, because that, you know, that's £3 well spent in my book. You'll never regret that. And if the tools are missing, you know, sorry about that, my phone ran out of memory. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up now because I think it's going to run out again and I need to move some stuff around. But yeah, if you find a cheap one on a car boot, get it bought, because it's worth £5 of anybody's money. You can replace the tools, don't worry about that. And as always, Victorinox will honour any warranty on any knife. You don't need a receipt. As long as it's one of their knives and it's a genuine Victorinox, they'll honour the warranty on any damaged bits within reason. Right, I'm going to wrap it up for now. I'm going to go inside because I'm boiling. So I'll catch you on the next video, guys. Over and out.